prize would be great, but unfortunately, only a pair. So there goes DraftKings up through 53, but well, up to 53. I don't know if it's going to break. It looks like it will. But that's the play, right? There's the break. There's the fade back into VWAP, and boom, goes. Money. Oh boy. This is this Palantir at 120 is something that I would have honestly never really even dreamed of happening, to be honest with you. I know that's going to sound corny, but like this is a monster move, and I was not even thinking about these levels, to be honest with you, and then it just came right in. So yeah, man, I mean, to say I like this trade is something else, but there it goes. Nice upside move. Palantir will be my number one P&L stock today, followed of course by Sound. Intel, no, that's for sure. Intel gave up the ghost real good, man. There, we actually turned red on Intel, despite it being one of our top stocks, up 5% right there today. But there it goes, right back down in. So congratulations there. I told you Obi had that, so congrats to Obi. Big trading for my guy over there. And then Palantir as well, right there, 120, 120.10 or so. We just got another piece out, so we'll watch out for that. But DraftKings has been huge. Let's see if Uber's having some Airbnb love as well. So now down 1%. We had thought there might be some pickup. I did anyways, maybe some pickup there in Uber today, but there is not, based on that movement, of course, with Airbnb. So yeah, possible possible moves there happening. I'm just going to get some orders out for Palantir because it's trying to get a little bit higher right there. So yeah, SoundHound back to 50. I don't know, anything interesting you're looking at this
to be honest,
yeah,
reversion on Intel.
Reversion, okay.
Because it just did $23 and it's got a very, very distinct trend. Obviously it's got a distinct trend. Look, I thought it was going to bounce off of the prior close. There's no question about it. I thought we were bouncing at 24.20 on Intel. So we get out, I get out anyways, but I'm now looking for the reversion trade on Intel. It's a similar setup, but distinctly different from Tesla. Like Tesla wasn't bleeding the way that Intel was. So this is clearly more of a falling knife, but it's the same principle that I'm just going to stick with. Where did my line go? It'll be really obvious. Like if it closes, it's 23 even. If it closes the bar above, you're going to have the prior close around that 23. So I want to get long, and if it breaks 23, jump out. Serve, we're still in. SMCI, by the way, just an update. I'm going to hit save to make sure that that's still there next time I go back for you guys. SMCI is still upward trending, but very gently. Now you've got a double top up here where it can't seem to break. I feel like if it loses this, we're going to VWAP. That's $1 lower. So I want to be out, tight, stop, wait for VWAP on SMCI. So that'll be the plan with that stock. But I feel like Intel just feels like it's going to be next. It's a little bit of a bottoming tail candle so far, and it's trying to close this bar above the $23 level. NVIDIA is 138 and still climbing. That's looking incredibly strong. Serve has barely moved since it got to VWAP, which ultimately I don't think is the greatest look, but oh, I'm missing some data. Okay, so my VWAP, this VWAP's going to be off a little bit because I'm missing some data there. But either way, you can see it's now going sideways on Serve. I want this to drop back in. I'm bidding 1370, 81, and I think in the 60s as well on Serve.
All right, you have been served right now. SoundHound.
Yeah, Serve.
Yeah. You're on Serve there. We're on SoundHound right now. So let's just see what winds up happening. Yeah. Tough. Well, again, it sucks when it's the same idea, right?
It's the same concept and the same catalyst, and they both begin with an S. So it's kind of
all right, so this one was a good one though. SoundHound so far for me today as we continue to break through that 1150. Tesla, let's have another look at Tesla. 350. Oh, I mean, again, weak name, faded off VWAP. We thought Tesla was going to be strong today, so that's for sure. That's going to be wrong. Yesterday was a monster day. We've really traded Tesla quite well, so I'm fine with not trading it too much today. We did get in quick outs there as we liked 358 to 356. So the difference with me today is that on Tesla, we stuck, and we talked about this yesterday with Obi again, and it's like, bless you, when you are uncertain about your levels, let it go. So we, on the sticky note there, we liked 358 to 356. When it broke, we got out, and I don't have to suffer anymore, right? On Intel, a little bit of a different story there because Intel we went long there. We tested it again at 23.50. Then we let it go. That's fine. But then we retested it again at 24, just 3 or 4 times there. 1, 2, 3 buys, just too many. Give it a go. If it fails, fine, but maybe only one time, not multi times. So that was a problem right there. Palantir, though, ain't no problems with Palantir as that goes to 120.50. We're still long 117. Let's see where that can work itself into. But it's Soundhound right now that is like a little bit of an undercover brother here, because this is making that move to the downside here for Soundhound. We are bidding at the 50-period moving average of 42. So if that comes in, great. And then we'll wait for a dip on that as well. So yeah, I mean, I really like this play here on Soundhound. Let's see how low it can go. I mean, we could get right back into that 1060 to 70 area. So one last out there. There it is. We get it there. Now we'll wait for a break lower into 1120 on SOUN. Actually, I better put some. I'm going to bid some, because we still have we still have about a third of this trade. I'm going to put some down at 30 to make sure we capture some kind of profit for sure.
That's what you got to do. And Soundhound, I don't know. I was going to say.
What were you going to say?
It's hounding lower.
Hounding sounds?
Because I would be like pounding down lower. I was like hounding down, but that doesn't really work. So I'll save you that one. SMCI broke trend, so I'm out. I'm not shorting this stock, but I am getting out when it breaks trend. And I want VWAP back, so we'll see if we can't grab this one off of VWAP if it gets there. 10.5% for SMCI. The stock is an absolute rocket ship. It still could eventually get to $50 today, but I think you're in a bit of a pullback in the market, so let's see if that can work. Serve is still doing the same thing it was before, like barely moving, but I mean, it just went 10 cents down. Like this stock is down 39%, and at the open it dropped $2, but now all of a sudden like a drop is 10 cents on the thing. So just respect that for what it is. Oh shoot, Tesla's at 350. We're gonna go to Adara right now as Tesla is at $350.
We're going to talk here about Coinbase today because, unfortunately, and I do apologize, it was omitted from the watch list. We're going to take a hard look at its earnings right now. And this earnings, you know, it's a great day if you were Coinbase. If you were a Coinbase shareholder, maybe not so good of a day. It's basically at day's lows here, but basically did have a pretty massive gap earnings per share here, $4.68 versus estimates of $1.81. Q4 sales here, $2.27 billion versus $1.83 billion, also a nice beat. They had some guidance here as well for the subscription and services revenue. And let's get into these year-over-year changes. So 172% increase in revenue or transaction revenue, subscriptions and services revenue of 15%. They also had a 176% increase in consumer trading. And apparently this outpaced the overall US spot market. So the other thing with Coinbase is they just announced as well today, they're going to be the exclusive crypto partner for Aston Martin's F1 team. So keep an eye here on COIN throughout the day. Here's Bitcoin's daily chart. Still struggling with that 98,000 and making lower highs from 98,000. Today, we have not even been able to reach that level. Current high here around 97.6. So let's see if we're able to break that streak of struggling with that 98,000 level, because it looks like today we might have another push lower. Now we have Bitcoin here basically flat in the day. Ethereum, though, actually nicely above 2,700, up about 2%. Great day for XRP, up 11%. Solana up 4%, Doge up 5%, Cardano up 2%. So a lot of these other crypto names stronger than Bitcoin itself. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. We talked about some of those secondary plays with crypto. Mara is always going to be a good one as well. Just real quick, man, Palantir, we got long and we got some out at the 20s. This is a 20-cent worth trade. We talked about where this needs to break, and we're getting pretty close to breaking right now. So be careful with it. I don't think there's anything too much to worry about. We have our stop order in. Our stop order on Palantir is, oh, I just saw that it just failed down there. So, all right, let's put it in together. It was a little bit of a break below here. So 118, so in our, it didn't fail. We didn't get triggered there, but 118.79, so break. So you can't have two stop orders out the same way on one stock. So that's, you have to put out bracket orders and things like that. So I failed to do that, and now I fixed it. So the stop order, it didn't break. We're still waiting for 118.79. We don't want to necessarily, we talked about not getting stopped out directly at VWAP. That's 118.92 or 3 here. So see, like there's another out right there at 25s. So we're long now at Palantir. And we've just been getting longer at VWAP. If it goes back up to the upside, I would consider that like not lucky, but I'm not really expecting it. So we'll see if we can hold it to that. Take some out, make this a profitable reload. See, there it is. So there's some more outs in the 30s. Now we can hold out. I don't have any more offers. I'm thinking about right into here 75, and then we'll see about 120. Let's see if it can go. All right, Neil, time to shine.
The first month is free.
What?
That's what you need to know with eSignal, because everything else about it is fantastic. You've heard us talk about this as the best way possibly for traders to trade smarter and not harder by utilizing every possible tool at your disposal. We're talking about indicators. We're talking about back testing. We're talking about forward testing. There's the API. I don't code, but I'm telling you, if you want to code some automatic, well, I'm just being honest, Sharif. I don't code, but if you have rudimentary coding skills or like ChatGPT, you can connect and automate your strategies, because you can have the indicators find them for you. You can execute on your platform because you can hook it up to almost every broker out there, or larger broker out there, so that you can execute your trades. You have tick replay available for you. You've got reliable data that is there. If the market is open, then your data is going to be there for you when you need it. You've got every scanner that you could imagine. We use them almost every single day here, especially in the afternoon when things slow down. What's still moving? What's a good opportunity? Well, put up a scanner to see what's trading faster, what's breaking highs, what's pulling back into VWAP. That's what you get with eSignal. It's all in one platform. And as I said, the first month is free. Scan the QR code in front of you, check out eSignal today, and then you can be watching stocks like Archer and BBAI and Cliff or whatever happens to be popping up here. And if you want, you can have like level, I don't know why I have this stock, BlackBerry. I don't know why BlackBerry's up, but you can look at the bid ask of BlackBerry.
Yeah,
too.
why not?
I'm not entirely sure why I just had BlackBerry up, to be honest, but it's probably a leftover from the other day when BlackBerry was doing something, I guess, because BlackBerry was moving the other day. Serve, just a quick update. Serve, I got that fill in the 70s. Intel, we tried a reversion play on Intel. It did a small bounce. Like that was about 11s to 22s, and then it broke the prior bar low. So that was one of my favorite Star Wars lines is, or this could be the shortest offensive of all time. Well, that was the shortest reversion you could imagine. It went 10 cents at best and right back in lows. Intel is leading today, but it's one of those, it was up so strong off of the low, and it's just essentially filled in yesterday's move. If you're real patient, at least I think I want to be really patient. If we don't make this bottom hold here, then I would wait for 2250, which is the next obvious level in there for Intel if 23 doesn't hold. So you got to have a little bit of patience in this market. And if you're really, really patient, then maybe NVIDIA comes back to us. I trail out of NVIDIA too early. Let's look for VWAP again. NVIDIA's up 1.7%. It's strong. Market's flat. So we know it's relatively strong. Let's look for this one to give us an opportunity off of VWAP for the long trade.
So Palantir came back in. Didn't make or lose anything on this, unfortunately. Gets to the upside, comes back in, breaks. We take our out. Now it wants to go back up. But this is where we have told you, if you want to get back in, fine. But at the same time right now, I'm not really thinking that that's, the greatest of trades to start fighting this, even though I do think it still is upside. So we're not going to participate in that, because that's what happened to Intel. We got carried away, we started buying it, but we were able to make it back there on that dip. This is not significant enough. If it was the 200 period, then I think maybe we would try to deal with that. So whatever, it's still gonna be my PL number one, Palantir. We did wish we would have made a little bit more on that. Just didn't go. We made as much as we could. I mean, it went to the 50 period. Besides getting out of everything, that was the play. And I just wonder, the market's if you opened your eyes at 8:30, 9:30, and then reopen them now, you would have thought the market didn't even trade.
True that.
You're right at where we opened. So I don't, be patient, try to wait for these trades to come through. But for right now, it's just not really moving. So, all right, that's what we're dealing with now here with this market. There's Palantir again. I still think it has higher to go. We'll watch out for SoundHound. That's moving around. Intel. Again, I know you retried the long on this, right?
It was the shortest offensive of all.
No, that's what it was, right? I was going to say, because this just broke 23. So everyone had that idea of shorting 25 there. And oh boy, was that the right one? Now down 5%. I didn't get a chance to get any out, which is fine. Maybe that's fine. Hopefully we'll open up a little bit higher now, but there's lesson learned, right? When we talked about getting out of Intel at some of those highs at 25 bucks, and it just looks so good on the daily there. So,
The daily doesn't look that bad still.
Yeah, that's a big rejection candle.
But to the 200 period, if it holds a 50 again, it's probably okay.
Yeah, but I don't want it to go back to 20. Anyways, all right. Well, that is what it is. So, all right, we'll continue to watch out for Intel, and we'll get some Intel on.
You know what we forgot about?
Yep. Go.
The GameStop.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was on the sticky note. I was like, I gotta look.
GameStop. Well, you know what? I'm gonna 99%. I wrote one number down for GameStop on my iPad, and it was $29. Unfortunately, it wasn't to short $29.
No.
It was to break out long at 29. Right at the you can't make this stuff up. It goes to $28.98 or 99 cents, and then dumps $2, and has been going down ever since. The good news is good price level. The bad news is you had to go short, and it's not doing anything. So the story with here was that they announced. No, it wasn't an announcement. They said they might invest in Bitcoin. Right. So I'm gonna make sure we say that right. There is no we're buying Bitcoin. It's not official, but they're thinking about buying Bitcoin. I don't even understand why, because it's not the same thing as what MicroStrategy does. So why is it a big deal if they just buy Bitcoin? That's great. That's nice. You have a bunch of cash. You want to do something with it. I mean, heck, you could be buying Nvidia stock, and that would do. That's good too. Like, why is Bitcoin suddenly some kind of a big catalyst? Unless you're doing it like how MicroStrategy is to try to get some out.
Look at SoundHound.
Try to have a better return. But anyways, I never really understood that, and it looks like they're selling it off anyways. I just thought the breakout could be good because it could squeeze. Let's go to Adara for Sector Watch.
So there's two things before we get to Sector Watch. The first thing is Rumble on watch here. Apparently the CEO, well, actually I saw the CEO basically posting on X and teasing here some more updates with regards to the company. We know they've been teasing a lot of different developments now. So RUM on watch here. Then we also have, I just want to give some more context on GME. So the company did not actually say they're considering it. CNBC reported that they're considering it. So the company itself has not said anything about this, though a lot of people are more likely to take this story seriously because of the fact that CEO Ryan Cohen met with Michael Saylor of Strategy, now known as Strategy, over the weekend. But the other thing, too, is apparently they said that they're still in the process of figuring out if this makes sense for the business. So the actual article seems a little bit like they might not get involved. So just be aware, GameStop did not, in fact, say anything. This is all just being reported by CNBC. Also, yeah, some more details on the Rumble announcement. Basically, apparently the CEO is just teasing Rumble AI and Rumble Mail. So be aware of that. Now we're going to take a look quickly at this sector board before we go back to the guys. PG here sharply to the downside in consumer non-durables. Not really a clear catalyst, aside from a very slight reduction in one person's portfolio. We have a lot of mixed sentiment here in producer manufacturing, but energy minerals strong, producer industry strong, communications pretty strong, utilities, finance, and electronic technology. Technology services, unlike electronic tech, pretty weak here today. Palo Alto Networks sharply to the downside after earnings. CRM, ServiceNow pretty weak here as well. And then we've got a little bit of, mixed movement here in health tech and retail trade. Back to you.
Boom.
Joe Mogul apparently.
Right over here. Come on, Sharif. Get it.
It's got to be Mogul.
Get it, Sharif.
No, it's not Mogul.
KDLY.
He's on KDLY. By the way, MGOL just double tapped $1. Look, I actually, the only reason I pulled this up because I thought Sharif was getting excited about this one, but it's now held $1 twice.
Here, Sharif.
If it makes a fresh low, this is probably a short. Wait a minute.
Join these guys on the midday show.
Okay, we have free locates. I just want to be, if this does break the low, I probably look for a short trade, but holding a buck a couple of times in here, if it gives you any kind of a trend break, which it hasn't done just yet, this could be one to give it to the long side off that $1 level. But the thing I'm looking for now is VWAP on NVIDIA, and NVIDIA doesn't want VWAP yet. So continuing to go higher is NVDA. The NASDAQ just bounced off VWAP. NVIDIA just might want to play off of this prior high. So if this is the wick that's going to get us in, then I want to get something at the 40 level and maybe give it a tighter stop here on NVDA, as the stock is just a strong one here. SCB Shorts. What symbol is it you're talking about here? There's a shareholder vote at 11 Eastern to merge with Heidmar. Are you talking about MGOL or is that a different stock? So just maybe if you're gonna, I can check the news to see if that's
Yeah,
true.
Derek can look up MGOLs.
I don't know if he didn't say what stock it is. So is that MGOL or is that something else? If it's MGOL, then let us know.
Adara on the ones and twos there for us. Okay, I just wanted to, so the reason why sometimes I'll say like, I say it out loud. Adara's at the desk. It is hard to hear. So that's why I'd like kind of tell her that she is watching out for the chat. That's the other thing. I talked to Adara yesterday. She's also watching the chat, watching various things, watching news sources. So if anything pops up, often our chat will actually have the plays first. And then Adara will watch it because so many of you are already all about scanners and things like that. So definitely, man, hit us up. Make sure you're liking and subscribing. In order to get into this chat and to participate, you have to hit the like and the subscribe. You don't have to hit the like, but you definitely have to be a member to be part of that members only chat, and it's completely free. Just hit the subscribe. And this is what I'm talking about. Look, see, Tempest. Thank you, JB. Tempest broke 90. So, Neil and I, obviously, with shares on board here, I have two names right now. FXI long, which I didn't even get a chance to talk about right yet. That one there, see, there, USD Japan, so the yen. So you gotta, there's people looking at everything right there. Hood, Cisco, so all these plays, definitely have a look there on our chat if you're looking for some ideas. I mean, that's what we're trying to do here is build that community up. So let's get going on that one. All right, so here we go. FXI, I screwed this one up. I wasn't even looking at it. We had a smaller position and it wasn't really affecting my net, and that's my bad. So what I wanted to do right there was look at this. There we go. And it was right here. We had FXI 3480 to get long down there. The bottom of FXI today is 34.82. So it came in. We would have definitely, I probably would have bought 85s or so. So it's not like we would have had the very best trade there, but we had it better than where we are. So now that this comes back up, let's take a little bit out. We got 98s there. I'm actually waiting at 99s for bigger. So if we could just take 4 or 5 pennies on this, I've already missed the bottom. I don't have the greatest price. So if it does fall back in, I do want to get more shares. Come on, give me those 99s. This will be, you come on, Sharif. Yeah, that's right. Maybe if you do this. Oh, I know what will work. This works pretty much all the time. Ready? 90, we just got it. Okay, one more time. All right. Come on, 35, disappear. Dada, okay.
You gotta try a different key.
No, hold on a second. It might still go. I mean, the Dada has to have it. All right.
I think you gotta hit
Oh, there it goes. It's trying to go. That worked. All right, 8 cents in the money. All right, let's go. So far, so good here. The only trade we have now on is Soundhound and FXI as Soundhound. Oh boy, that's starting to be a good one right there. We still have less than a third on now, a quarter on, sorry. A little bit less, actually 20% on Soundhound, and then FXI getting lighter, but that was a good trade, man. Hitting those buttons seemed to have worked. So, so far, so good there. All right.
Try another one.
No, because now...
No,
and that actually did work.
I actually just wanted to hit that key. I like the.
All right, I like the awesome as well.
The
I need
Valley
to get some
Girl
more
keys.
I need to get some more on here.
I need more keys on there. Just one quick thing in here. I see you hysterical in the chat. That would be amazing. Oh, there it is. That would be amazing if Nvidia got to $145 in 1 month. And you know what that would mean? That would simply mean that it goes there in front of earnings, which we have to wait another month for. No, I'm just joking. We don't have to wait a month. We have to wait a couple weeks. It just feels like we have to wait forever from video earnings. It's 2 weeks away. So post earnings, 150. That's very reasonable because it can do that essentially in 1 day after earnings. It's got a nice dip into the prior high. It never got to VWAP, but I'm going to respect the range we have in here. Try to get some out in front of 137.80. The other thing you've got going is this. So if you look at the bottom tails from the open, it just actually held those. If we break this trend, it's an out on this long. Otherwise, we're playing this long till the high. As long as it can hold this. Now you got 3 points on this. We'll trend up here on NVIDIA. NVIDIA's been an absolute monster. SMCI did not get to VWAP, unfortunately. Should have just maybe played our original entry at 46.25. SMCI up 11%. I like this stock today. I feel like if at any point it takes out this high, there's so much room to get to that $50 level that we want to try to be long the stock. But I don't want to take breakouts. It's 11 o'clock on a Friday. I want to be looking for dip buy opportunities. Breakouts, again, Friday, this time of day, not my cup of tea. So I will not take this break. I will only try to buy either these quarter supports or 46 even. And someone said, Intel's going, Intel's going. I mean, Intel, again, when it bounces, it's bouncing 10, 15 cents. At this point, for a stock that's dropped top to bottom, what is that, 230? So these are very shallow moves. It's still trending down. 22.5 is the spot that I'm looking for. If it can get back, there it is, like 22.5 down in here. That's where I'm looking mean revert on Intel. So back in NVIDIA, trying to be patient for the next dip on SMCI to go back into the long, and still holding on to Serve. Like Serve never went more than 20 cents in the money at best on this particular short. So we're just not doing much, so we're just holding on to it. It's not out of the money. It's in the money 14 pennies right now. It's not really doing anything. I think Intel's going to have a big reversion or bounce play. I'm just not sure we're there yet. I'm going to wait for it to maybe pull a little bit lower. Sharif.
Man, Marty over here. Guys going crazy.
To Adara at the desk? No? Yes? Yeah.
We're going to do money talks, but we're also going to talk about MGOL because I looked into it, and basically the thing with this is they are having this meeting. With regards to their Heidmar combination, I could not find a start time for the meeting, so I cannot confirm if it is 11 a.m. And I went on social media to find any more confirmation, but this stock is like GameStop on Twitter, and by that I mean we have tons of mentions, none of which really have to do with any fundamentals, so it's a little bit hard to find out the time, but I will let you know that MGO Global is holding that meeting with regards to the Heidmar business combination today. And the other thing that I think is worth noting about this meeting is they had their annual shareholder meeting on December 20th, and this is already the second special meeting they've had since then. So MGO prone to these shareholder meetings, guys. Now, in terms of the US dollar, we talked about lower highs, lower lows. Now you're breaking below support from this 107 level that we haven't really seen broken since December 20, or I guess mid-December here. So really big low here for the US dollar. That's our fourth straight red day, despite some things that you would think would maybe be positive. We had some strong inflation prints on Wednesday and Thursday. So bit of an interesting look here. We've got the US dollar pushing much lower. I think the tariffs were initially seen as really bullish, but the more info we get in the tariffs, or I guess to put it a different way, the lack of clarity we have on these tariffs seems to be leading to a little bit of a push potentially to the downside for that DXY, guys. Back to you.
Yes, sir. Mogul, is it really Mogul? What's MGO Global? Why am I calling it Mogul? MGO Global halted to the upside. It looks like, whoops. Sorry, why did that? Oh, there was another stock in my drop down that's in Toronto. It's similar. So we are halted here at 117, 118 tap, quadruple top at 120. So in terms of looking for a clean move back through $1, I wasn't watching it. Maybe it was clean through $1. You guys would have to tell me. I wasn't watching. Doesn't look like it was all that clean, but you've got ample room on the daily chart here as long as it can hold. This one's different if it breaks out the top. I know I just said I don't like breakouts this time of day, but this is a little bit different because it's a small capper with lots of volume, 160 million in volume. That'd be 120 or 125. If it opens flat, then you have a chance of the break. If it gaps above, maybe play it back into the whole price, which is 117. So that looks pretty strong as far as I'm concerned. I'm going to throw that one up on a side chart. NVIDIA looking okay. We haven't really been talking too much about some of the other Mag 7 names, but just of note, as the market goes, as the NASDAQ goes right back into the high, it's notable that Apple is losing VWAP as the market approaches the high. Not sure what's up with that for Apple, but maybe it's distinctly different. Like there's Meta right back to the high of the day, which is what you would expect. NVIDIA back to the high of the day, which is what you would expect. But what's going on here with Apple could be showing a little bit of weakness after being strong this morning. So if we fail the high, Apple might be a little bit of a sneaky short play. But I like this MGOL. I think I'm going to be looking at this on the reopen for potential breakout play. If you get really lucky, maybe it'll bounce off VWAP or something before it gets there.
Guys, let's just go diamond hands right now, because I feel like that's a little bit of what we're having, because we're not just like getting out, we're kind of layering it out right now for Soundhound, as we nailed that again, right back to the high of the day. For me, this is the easiest and best trade that I could have made. Like we had shorted that. We had talked about the levels that we liked above VWAP or in and around sort of VWAP. So that first trade was pretty easy. The second trade took a little bit of patience because it was above VWAP and we were still using this as a stop. The reason why I say that I really like this trade is because A, we explained it and it was pretty simple. The second part is my stop was a break of 91. So this was 11 cents worth of a stop. And we had talked about that because it was the high. So 11 cents worth of a stop. We're back into Intel. Okay, so I want to put the stop down here, 2309. If we get back into 2309, we're going to stop out of Intel. We're going to try it breaking back higher right now on INTC. So let's see if it wants to work. So Intel right now, I'm taking it for a long. We'll see. I don't know. Oh, we're long at 12. Okay, I can get out of a piece right now then at 24 and 25 since we do have a decent amount of shares now. It was a little bit of a revenge trade. I'm not going to lie right now, but we wanted to get revenge. A dish best curve served cold right there. Let's go, NVIDIA. Sorry, Intel. Nice move back there as we take a 50-period break, right? So there's the 50 period. It finally breaks back to the long side. We're taking some out now. I'm already out of 30% on this play. It's a good move. We'll take a little bit more out here. Nice play there for me here on Intel. Again, 10 cents worth of risk is all that we put on right now. So that's very, very important when you're analyzing, when you're trading a little bit more shares and you only have a 10-cent stop. When it goes 10 cents for you, I believe anyways in getting out of half. And that's exactly what we did. So now we literally got out of half right there. So we're now out of half for in and around 10 cents. I mean, some of our outs were up there at 25, 26, good outs there at 28, 29. So not exactly one-to-one risk to reward yet, but here's a little bit of a fade back there for Intel. Again, weak name getting hit. Let's see now if it finally has some juice back to the upside. We'll see if it wants to work. The best outs would really be around 50 if we can get anywhere near this, where we kind of barcoded, fell, came back, fell. We're at this level right now of 25, so wouldn't be surprised to me either if we fell off of here. So yeah, just not really tricky trading ahead here on Intel because we have a defined out. Let's just see if we can have enough to hold it up into the 50s. That's where my offers are now.
Ooh, look at that was
wow, 40s.
The second you finished that sentence,
yep.
MGOL opened up.
Okay.
Almost on to the penny here. So it just double tapped 125. I don't have an order out.
Look at SoundHound.
Just go. Okay, now we have an order out. If it breaks out that 125, I'm going to look to jump long, put a tight stop underneath the 120. If it loses the fail break, so if we fail break this, I want to have a tight stop, and then I want to jump back in if it can bounce off VWAP. So that's going to be the plan of action on MGOL. It's up, 44%, 170 million in volume. This is going to do hundreds of millions of shares today, especially if it can take out that high. The other good thing is it held the dollar yesterday, so you have a stair step to the upside here on MGOL. Come on, do the break. If it doesn't do, like I said, if it doesn't do the break, I'll look for some kind of a bounce off of VWAP. But that looks like it wants to be the next play, as I have no idea what. Oh, that's what they said. The vote is in 2 minutes. Yeah, that's right. It's at 11 o'clock. I have to wait for the back end of this. I was kind of hoping it would break before, and I could take a scalp trade. But if it's not going to break now, then we wait for after 11 when they have that vote. One more note here. SMCI. I hate you guys. No, just kidding. SMCI now holding at 47. So I still like the dip. Doesn't look like we're getting it yet, but it's just a matter of yet. We want to be able to jump back into this one if we can. So my eyeballs are going to be on MGOL, obviously, with this vote coming in here. Can it hold on to the dollar? And now it's looking like it doesn't want to. So that's the thing. Hands off. Looked like it was going to be a quick little scalp trade if it broke out. Instead, it does the reversal to the downside. This is why you don't punch in unless it makes the break. Thankfully, it never wicked me into that thing. That could have been close.
Oh boy. All right. So since you've been gone, we have some great trades there with SoundHound. It's now coming back into $11. The hold is here. We actually hit the diamond hands before, so we're really happy with what's been happening right now down here on SoundHound. I'm bidding 1075, but foolish not to put something at 06s right here. So again, we're short at 1180. So this rate here is going to be 75 cent winner on an $11 name. So I feel pretty responsible by taking it. So we'll see, there it is. So we take another bid right now. Now my bid is 1075 down here. We've taken out a lot of these shares right now, all good up in that hood. Intel rips up into the 30s, so we get some more out there, 37. We talked about that latest shelf there. We are hoping to get a 50 print. Who knows if that comes out, but this trade now, but the fact that we're able to get something out near there into the 30s turns out to be a pretty good decision. Yeah, man. FXI fades back out again.
Tesla just dropped big.
Tesla just dropped. Look at the futures right now coming in. So a little bit of a concern there for Intel. Neil just mentioned Tesla.
Tesla just lost $3 in one wick here. It just broke 350. It's at 348 and continuing to drop lower. MGOL just bounced off of it. Looked like it was about to halt. I think it bounced off the halt band to the downside with that vote incoming. But Tesla is the one that's really dropping. 345. If it doesn't hold 350, I'll probably look for another reversion trade down around the 345 level. It is 11 o'clock. They are the Bash Brothers. It is 11 o'clock.
Yes.
They are the Bash Brothers.
11:01.
It's
You guys owe us 1 minute. Like, you guys have to go to at least 2:02
Yeah, that's true. You guys got to go to 202
right now.
Well, I'm just saying. Apparently, we're gonna go to Adara
now,
first
Keep
for
the lane,
news,
Joe.
and then we'll go to the midday. So now they're gonna owe us even more time.
I have less news on the market and more news on Meta specifically here. Basically, they've reportedly planning a major investment into AI-powered humanoid robots. So two of the market's favorite words lately, AI and robots. Meta getting a bit of a push here, but I'm not seeing anything on the market as a whole. The other thing I want to mention here is this GSK. This one is GSK PLC is the name of the company. Apparently, Citadel opening a short position. So keep an eye on GSK and, of course, META. But we'll have a lot more for you when we send you over to the Bash Brothers on the How to Trade Midday Show. Over to you.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade During the Midday. That right there is your boy. Joey Options, and I'm Sharif. And I was muted. Thank you, Andre. A little anticlimactic. Well, everything's fine. I'm still muted. Oh, you know why, Andre?
Why?
My mic is off.
If mic's off.
There we go. Sorry
Mic's
about
off.
that, everybody. All right, let's bring
in the chat, and we'll shout out everybody. All right, who do we got here? We got Lightning Bob, Eddie R, Sarah Burdette, Phil Rich, and it wouldn't be a day without Charlie Taff, or of course the world's greatest mod, Bears versus Dang Bulls. I'm talking about you, my man. Shout out to Full-Time Trader. I know my mic is off. I got it. We got, who else we got? We got Johnson Tang. We got SRMRM. We got CG, Ryan G, Moy Cansado, RTJ. We got Take Profits, Foo. I love that name. Darth Buddha, Mary, Wing So, Nick Downs. How about one micro trader as opposed to, the large trader? We got Tez, Mad Wordy, Jose Perez, and Blue Baron. Who else we got over here? We got Aram 31 and Sergeant Sexy 12. I see you. Victor Lou, Lady Luckstar, Marcos, Zachary Deella. Sean's one of your boys. Ray David. Who else we got? We got the Beautiful Gate. Marky J, Northwest Sasquatch. I like that name, of course. Dad Trader, Small Cap Capper Trader Extraordinaire. Joseph, one more. Damo, I lied. Kirk D, shout out to you. Hope everybody has a fantastic day, been having a fantastic day. So.
Valentine's Day. I hope everybody got spoiled today. So for those who are in the chat, yeah, I mean, it's been a pretty good session this far for a Friday. We had a lot of strong names right out the gate, Sharif. I know we have a lesson to touch on, but first we're going to hop into some of the top performing sectors this morning, guys. And at the top of its class today is the energy sector, up about 1% on the session. Financials sitting in second place here, guys, up about 0.5%. And then in third place is the utilities. So take a look at XLE, XLF, and XLU for those sector ETFs, guys, up as well about 0.5%. We're going to go from the third last to last here. Industrials down about 0.1%, closer to 0.2 there, guys. Consumer discretionary 0.2 as well, and then consumer staples, surprisingly, is down about 0.5% on the session, my guy. But we're talking short squeezes again, so I think that's going to be a fun.
We are. If you could send him the tickers, because I didn't have an opportunity to.
Absolutely,
I appreciate you, Joseph. I just want to cover this trade super quick, guys. I usually don't trade before I get onto the show, but I did. I like this one, KDLY. This is one that we had earlier this week. It is a small cap gapper. It was on one today, but it's lost the bid, and now it's lost VWAP, so I'm no longer trading this. I got in at that 355 area. One reason and one reason only. The pullback into VWAP. It was money. We took it into 4, but as you can see there, 4 was as good as it could do. And we kind of get a double top, and this is where the shorts really went to town through the break of the neckline, right around that $3.50 area. There's a double top. There's your neckline break, and now it looks like we are on our way to 3. I'm not going to take it long here, but we could find support because of this bull flag consolidation area. I'm talking about KDLY. It's up 25%. It's a multiple day runner, but it is now giving up the ghost. I've got plenty of small cap gappers ready on the side over here. Hopefully, we'll be able to trade some of them, and they won't be, untradeable because they'll have pulled back or whatever by the time we're done doing the lesson. So let's get right down to business, baby. We've been talking about short squeezes all week, and today we're going to continue into this lesson. So this specific lesson dives into fading the afternoon strength for meme stocks or small cap gappers, whatever. These intraday style trades. We'll explore how to potentially capitalize on the price pullbacks that sometimes occur after the initial hype of the day, okay? So let's get right down to it. So when you see meme roller coaster, really what I'm talking about are these small cap gappers, okay? And anything that, is not a large cap company and that has a somewhat suspicious catalyst. So here's the deal. So meme stocks, often fueled by social media buzz and retailer investor excitement, can experience explosive price jumps. We saw GameStop moving in the aftermarket yesterday because they're exploring crypto. However, this excitement doesn't always last. This afternoon phase, so to speak, describes the potential for a price decline after the initial trading day as the buying pressure subsides. So that's kind of the setup that we're looking for here. So how do you tame the afternoon fade, so to speak? So fading the afternoon strength in these memeing type stocks involves shorting the stock after its initial morning surge, aiming to profit if the price dips later in the day. While inherently risky because you're taking a strong stock short, right? And by definition, it's kind of a counter trend trade. This strategy can be very lucrative if executed correctly. So let's talk a little bit of how to do this. We're going to talk about the RSI reversal short. You basically using the RSI, okay? So here's a strategy for fading the afternoon strength in these meme stocks using the relative strength index, RSI for short. So number one, you identify that stock that you want to look at. So you're looking for these memeing type stocks experiencing significant price increases in the pre-market or in the early trading day. That's step number one. Step number two, you start looking and monitoring the RSI. The RSI, if you don't know already, is a technical indicator that measures how overbought and oversold a stock is. And I'm going to pause right there because I want to let you know, if you don't know what the RSI is, we have an absolute banger of a video by Brendan, by Neil. It's live on the Tradertv website or YouTube page right now. And it's quite lengthy. It's an excellent explanation and very well done. So if you don't know what the RSI is, or if you just kind of know what it is from a superficial sense and you want more of a deep dive, get into our YouTube homepage right now and make sure you're adding it to your watch later list, okay? Step number three, you're waiting for the RSI overshoot, essentially your wait signal. As the meme stock price surges, the RSI will typically rise as well, right? Typically rises. Well, you want to wait for the RSI, though, to kind of reach into that overbought territory. That's typically a print above that 70. It's not a hard and fast rule. It's typically a 70 and above as a general rule. And then the afternoon fade confirmation. This is your entry signal, so to speak. If the price starts to pull back slightly after reaching its intraday high and the RSI remains above 70, so you're looking for a price pullback, but you want to see that RSI continue to weasel above that 70 mark, this could be your sign of a potential afternoon fade. Again, potential, underline that word. We're not putting all our eggs in one basket here. Then step number 5, this should be your short entry and your stop loss placement. So you want to place a short sell order on the meme stock after the price pullback and the RSI confirmation that we talked about in step 4. And then simultaneously, you want to set a stop loss order above that intraday high, to limit potential losses, obviously, if the price reverses and continues weaseling on its merry way to the high side. But remember, though, guys, the afternoon fade is by no means guaranteed. This is a very, very basic explanation of a much more complicated strategy if you want to employ it in real life. So definitely keep your eye on these meme stocks because they can be awfully volatile, and let's call it spade a spade. The price might continue to climb despite the RSI being in that overbought territory. And quick exit is key. I often say this while I'm trading these small cap gappers. They hang around in that price level for not that long. They're around for a good time, not a long time. So if the price starts to rise again after you short the stock and it's making those higher highs and higher lows, exit the trade quickly to minimize losses. Again, the reason I say that, you're by definition taking a counter trend trade. So it's higher risk by nature. And then risk management, always we say this, is absolutely crucial. Shorting involves significant risk, as you can lose more than your initial investment, obviously, because theoretically it's unlimited losses. Only allocate whatever you can really afford. I don't want to say a small portion, because everybody's going to be a little bit different. Whatever you can afford to lose on the day to such trades as they are a little bit more higher risk. Joseph, nice, short, but sweet lesson for a Friday.
Yeah, that's it. It's a Friday. It's Valentine's Day. Everybody getting those sweets in today. But I mean, Meta is absolutely insane. This thing has gone parabolic. If we can pull up my screen, we'll take a look at it. Also took a couple stabs here on IBIT, just not working. It's not really in breakout territory either. So I just got to be weary of that. We'll go over NVDA's daily as well too, and just why this thing is breaking out and where it opened up from a daily perspective. So we'll take a look at that. But look at Meta. This is absolutely insane. How much higher can it go? It's going on an extreme angle, yeah, and it's just not stopping. This thing, I don't even know really what to say about it, but it's just continuing to go higher day after day after day. So if you're locking in profits, then congratulations to you, because this move is absolutely phenomenal. Let's pull up NVDA and see what we got going on from a daily perspective as well too, guys, because I just want to point out what's been going on with this stock for the past little while. We know it's been extremely choppy, but I think it's really important to notice where candles are opening up on the daily. And sure enough, here we are. So we know what happened here, DeepSeek news, and then we breached the gap here again, and then we just put in these consecutive green days, put in a nice little consolidation right here, and then we sit on top of this range here, on top of this resistance range, and then now we're breaking out and filling up more of this gap. So I expect this thing to continue to move. This pullback, or this correction in the name on that DeepSeek news, I think is going to grab enough liquidity for this thing to make an all-time high, especially with the report coming out in a couple of weeks, the 26th, I believe. I think this thing is going to go absolutely parabolic, because after those big moves, you see things go all-time highs after that. So again, 700 million at the lows gone, or 700 billion, sorry, at the lows gone in market cap, now recovering a lot of those losses. So again, you can't go wrong with this name at this point. Buying dips, I know a lot of people around here are buying them. I was buying them there myself. A lot of people are talking about SoFi in the chat here, Sharif. So we're going to pull up SoFi real quick for the people and see what we got going on there. And then we'll send it back to my guy. Oh, yeah, this thing is parabolic as well, too. We'll see if we can find some news. Adair, did you drop anything on SoFi, or? No, she hasn't seen anything yet, but when she does, she'll definitely let us know. But look at this move here, guys. Nice bounce, forming those lower highs, and then boom, just to the top side now, up a nice amount here on the session, guys, about 6.5%.
Oh, looks like your friend George Soros there.
Oh, George.
Yeah.
Yeah. I told him.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy, huh?
We got dinner on Saturday.
Soros Capital takes new Nvidia, Chipotle stakes, exits Alibaba, Microsoft among top 4 Q moves. So Soros Capital Management opened new positions in Nvidia, Chipotle, CMG obviously, and SoFi with 512,000 shares. So he weaseled into SoFi here with about 500,000, not even a little bit more than 500,000 shares during the last quarter of 2024, according to his 13F filing, which was issued today. Today's Friday. So that's what I'm seeing. That's the only thing for SoFi. So maybe we have some traders following his look there. So I'm not 100% sure if that's The reason it's moving, I haven't even looked at the price action on SoFi, but that's what I have on my blotter. Okay, we're going to shout a couple of super chats, and then we're going to send it to Adara in one hot second. Here are the super chats. Show yourself. Dang it. Oh, you got to go like this. Super chats. There we go. Fan funding. We got Chat GPT, $5 super chat, 150% on Meta from 732.50 from yesterday. Bang. Hope you boys are banking today. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day right back at you, Chat GPT. Love the name, my man. And then we got DP Kane selling Donkey Kong and Hood, DKNG that is, calls this morning. That's right down your alley, Joseph. Morning, thank you. Option lessons, boys. It's option lesson boy over here. So shout out to you guys. Thank you very much for the super chat. Are we still going to Adara? Okay.
Still going to Adara.
SoFi. So SOFI, yeah, Shreve was correct there. He did add, George Soros did get involved here. It's an $8 million position apparently, but it's worth noting these 13F filings are always a couple months removed. Usually when you get buying or selling, it's people reacting to this news. So SOFI here, nice push to the upside. They also have a decent short float, about 12%, and they get a lot of retail attention as well, which always aids these type of names. We just have to listen today about short squeezes, so be aware here of the short float in some of these type of names. Back to you.
Thank you so much for that, Adara. Great stuff there. Yeah, I didn't even look at the short float, didn't do anything. So Adara on top of it. Really appreciate that. Joseph, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm just keeping my eyes on here on NVDA. We're still up about 1 1/5 here on the session, starting to pull back through the volume weighted average price. And the likes of Apple, I believe the boys were talking about that, but I haven't really looked at it today. I know I'm going to talk before we talk about Apple and some of these mega names that we were going over not too long ago. My guy Gorev was like, Joe, I took that VWAP trade on Hood, and that was my number one, to be honest with you, on the day 2 earnings, but the volume wasn't really there. And then this initial sell-off, I was like, I don't want to see that many 1-minute candles below VWAP because I'm looking for that momentum push back through the volume weighted average price, right? With that conviction within the time of sales as well too. And I didn't see that right off the bat. So I took a nice little scalp on coin, worked out, and some NVDA as well too, which worked out. So we're happy about that. But this was my number one and something that we missed out on. We know that these numbers are absolutely phenomenal. 700%, up 700% in transaction revenue, and half of that going towards crypto. So this thing is really going to continue to move, I believe from a daily perspective. We do have this inverted hammer candle that we need to be aware of, but I think that we blow past that. And unless we get a pullback and fill some of this gap, which may be happening, but again, I think for the foreseeable future, this thing is going to continue to climb higher and higher and higher. And this is a name that I'm like, I don't really own anything. Like I don't own brokerages or anything along these lines. And maybe I'll look to get involved in this, because when you're spitting out numbers like that, chances are over the next coming quarters, you might see that growth sustained. And I'm going to look for that here in Hood, Shreve.
All right. I tried to get into GXAI. It didn't let me in. There's some size here posted at the whole dollar level at 2. So I've done this. Joseph kind of showed me how to do this. I'm basically highlighting everything above 100 lots, okay? That's just going to be the default there for that. So that's what we're looking at right now. I'm trying to weasel in the GXAI. It's doing the dance with $2. Very similar look on GXAI and ALLO. Now I've gotten into ALLO, not at my ideal price. I was trying to punch in at 95s. It wasn't having me. And then it squeezed up into 98. So I'm looking at ALLO. I'm looking at GXAI, and I'm looking for a break of $2 on both. They're both quite strong on the day, with ALLO being a bit stronger, 40 some odd %. GXAI, 28 and change, but they're both very similar patterns, up and to the dang right. So I put my stop now that I'm in ALLO below that 90 penny area. That's not a random area that I'm choosing. It was in price action resistance over here, and then it acted as support. So if it's going to break 2, it's going to have to hold 90. Otherwise, I want no smoke. Let's go back. Now I got the fill here on GXAI. So what's my move? Well, it's away from the 10 exponential. The 10 exponential right now is at 195. So I'm going to have to give it a little bit below that, 182 or so. I'm going to give it to around right there, and we're going to throw in our stop. But we're going to wet our beak on the way up, if possible. Why not, right? So we're going to layer our orders, a couple south of 2 and a couple north of 2 over here. So we're involved in both at the moment. GXAI is going to have to hold that $1.85, okay? Because that's the 10 exponential, whereas ALLO has to hold that 190 because that's price action, support, and resistance. So that's my move on both. We'll see what comes. We're in both positions right now. We'll see exactly if we can print anything to the high side. Kamimi, nothing says I'm drowning in love, but still playing it safe. Quite like wearing a red life jacket on Valentine's Day.
Dang.
Woo!
That is joking.
The Katina man spun the money. I'm not even really sure why, but I like your comment. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know if I should be offended or should laugh. But either way, we're involved in ALLO, Joseph. We're involved in GXAI, and that's what I'm doing right now. What do you got, my man?
I don't know, man. There's a red life jacket. I like that. I like how. See, I heard Tia Man. He's like, yeah. Someone in the chat said it's like it's not a vest, it's a life jacket, and we had a good laugh on that one. So we won't pick too much fun at you guys.
All good.
It's all good. It's all fun and games. Yeah, guys, the market is really, really starting to come in here. I decided to take a quick long on Tesla. Why? Because we have this signature at an extreme low. We're down almost 2%, or probably closer to 2% now. So this is TSLL, but we have this this hammer candle with that isolated volume, and that's something that I always keep an eye out. But with the market pulling in like it is, this thesis may not work out. So if we break the low, then we're just going to get out of the trade, and that's it. Again, this style of trading is so simple because you have an entry and then you have your defined risk. You don't complicate the system, right? You find those hammers, you identify them at extreme highs and extreme lows, and at VWAP as well too. And then you can just use the length of that candle as your stop loss and your entry. And then you look for the mean reversion setup. So you're going to look for VWAP as a potential target, and then you can start going into the pre-market lows, etc. So this is what it's looking like. Again, we may break it to the downside. Market really coming in heavy here, Sharif.
Oh.
Apple is, I think, you know what? I like Apple at the support level. So we might have to get into this a little bit here because it's been on a monster run. We'll touch on Apple, as I mentioned before, real quick. So here, I'll pull it up. Okay, now we're in this. And just see what we got going on from a daily perspective. I got to keep my eye on this TSL as well, too. So here we go on Apple. And here yeah, nice recovery in this name, guys. So not too far off of those all-time highs. Only about 6% now. This is going to be a key pivot for us to break through. I think we're going to need that momentum to step in. We do know that Apple is releasing something, I believe, next week. Is it,
Yeah.
Sharif? Yeah. So that's going to be really important. Is this going to be a buy the rumor, sell the news type event? Maybe, possibly. It depends how influential and how much of an impact this new device has, because none of us really know what it is. So
Nope.
until then, I think you just got to buy this name. And if it's a little lackluster, then maybe you can look to get out a bit, I think.
All right, Adair, what do you got?
I don't have anything on the market drop, but I have a couple of stories that are coming across that I think are worth noting. Citigroup here, apparently, according to the information, is exploring adding crypto custody services. We know there's been a lot of talk here with Fed Chair Jerome Powell about saying that really, like, there's nothing wrong with these banks holding crypto as long as, you know, the customers are involved are sound. So I think this Citigroup catalyst is pretty interesting here. Also, Donald Trump, along with Prime Minister Modi of India, launching this U.S.-India Compact initiative. I'm going to have to read a little bit more about this to make sure I understand it. But just so you know, that is a headline. Not seeing anything, though, on the market as a whole here, guys. Back to you.
Thank you very much for that, Adara. All right, I think I'm going to weasel also into AURR. Two bottoming tail candles through the 10 exponential. So I've got an area that I can say to myself, no, this isn't setting up. So I'm going to take it out below 1035. All right, so we're already moving up on that. So it probably behooves me to wet my beak here. Let's throw out some orders and hang out. Okay, so that's a look. Let me throw out my stop on this as well. So we're going to go ahead and go like this. And then we'll give it to there. There we go. So we're already wet our beak on that. Here comes ALLO again. I added on the dip into 94. Now I'm waiting at 2s. Look, it's clearly a hidden seller. I mean, there's barely anything posted on the gateways here at $2. Yep, where all these prints coming in, we can't take it out. So that's lesson number one there for hidden sellers. You can kind of see it live in living color. Look at that. All these prints coming in and nothing getting taken off the gateway, right? So someone's selling up a storm there, hiding their order. We'll have to wait and see whether the buy orders can overwhelm this hidden seller hanging out at $2. $2, an area of obvious psychological resistance, these whole dollars, half dollars, especially for small cap gappers. So packing my patience with these trades. GXAI is going to have to hold this $1.85. It's gotten awfully close to it. It wicked off, actually, that $1.85, that $1.86, actually, I stand corrected. But it still hasn't curled back up. It just hasn't broke through yet. So that's not really a glowing endorsement now, is it? So keeping an eye out on that. I'm keeping an eye, obviously, on AUR. And there's UDMY as well, Udemy, or whatever, however you say it, that course, that a website that gives you online courses. That's breaking up as well into 10 and a half. $10 and a half. It's up 33.25%. Let's have a look. These are the small cap gappers that I've got on the side chart today. You'll see Udemy. Where the hell is it? It's over here. It's at day's high right now, 1043. That's a hell of a bull flag that it's got there. It's obviously above the pre-market high. It's at the day high right now. I want to see if this wants to continue. I don't know what the headline is, and I don't have time to look right now. So we're going to look for technical trades. It's very respectful, Udemy right here, of the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. So if you're looking to get in, you could be, I could be persuaded to get in possibly on a pullback into the 10 exponential. So I'll be keeping an eye on that. I'm in 3 trades right now: AUR, ALLO, and GXAI. GXAI looks the worst of the 3, but at least I have an area where I know I am wrong. I'm going to get out at that $1.85 because that will be a technical break of VWAP. Joseph Wilson, what do you got on your side?
Yeah, I'm just shooting a little quick message to
I can
Andre here. Yeah, no,
continue.
that's okay. We're good now. So here we go, guys. I wanted to grab the bottom off of Tesla here, and I really like this hammer on the Qs and the SPY. So we might have to get involved with that and get out of this Apple short. I don't like being in a push and pull scenario with these names. Like I'm long one heavy tech stock and then short another. I know they don't always move in conjunction, but at the same time, it's like, what am I really doing here? But again, let's see if this Tesla can work off the bottom. We know that it's down about 1.5% on the session. As of right now, it seems to be working, and I like that. It's the same thesis always, and I mentioned this before. Isolated volume with that isolated pivot, now breaking it to the top side. The next target's going to be 20, and VWAP as well too. But I know we got an ad read.
Yes, sir. Okay, here we go. We got Firefly, baby. I don't know why it's not letting me open. There we go. I apologize. All right, with an FDA-cleared proprietary database of over 77,000 brain images, Firefly is transforming healthcare with AI-driven diagnostics, providing clear, data-backed understanding of brain health. After more than a decade and over $60 million invested, Firefly is advancing the commercialization of its brain networks analytics platform, BNA for short, bringing the technology to clinicians and pharmaceutical partners. Firefly is enhancing the diagnosis and treatment of conditions such as depression, dementia, anxiety disorders, concussions, and ADHD, while also accelerating drug discovery and early screening for conditions like Alzheimer's. I got to champion that kind of thing. Shout out to the great folks there at Firefly. I hope they have success with, alleviating some of that. So here's the deal. We took out some there on, what's it called? AUR. That one continues to make higher highs and higher lows. It was a double bottom into the 20 exponential. And here we go. Where are we long? 51s just took up there, some at 69s. Now we're going to hang out a little bit higher over here I'm going to hang out at the high of day. 77s, that's a high of day. 1077 HOD. It's going to have to hold that area. GXAI, I've got one more penny, and then I'm going to, I already got stopped out. Okay. So GXAI will take a first L on the day. That's kind of how it works there. ALLO. Now, this is the one that we've got the position in. It keeps rejecting too. And now it's no longer a hidden seller that's hanging out at $2. Now they're posting on the gateway, and there seems to be some size here of note. There's a few, I want to say about 1,000 lots of what's posted. It's what is not posted that is keeping us down here. Now, that's the bad news. The good news is keep your eye on the bid as well on the left side of the time, the level 2. Well, how come? Because you want to see who's backstopping you if the price is to drop. So what I mean by that is if there's big orders that are coming in on the bid, you can make the kind of the hypothesis or the assumption that if you get a big sell order, that big buy order at least helps block the price from dropping as aggressively as it would have without it. I hope that didn't confuse everybody. So what I'm looking for here, ideally, is as the price moves up, I'm looking for buyers to move up with me. Big buyers, that is. So that's kind of what we're seeing over here at 96. But by the same token, we're seeing the big sellers also hang out at that $2 area. Here comes ALLO. I'm waiting at 77s. This is close to taking out the AUR, excuse me. This is close to taking out the high of the day. We're seeing 75s now, 76s. Can we get that? I'm not going to wait. We're going to take it out right there. Bang. All right, so now we're going to post. North of that, Joseph, we're going to hang out in the 80s now that we took it at 76 without waiting for 77. So let's see if this one wants to keep going here. AUR to second day play today, not as strong as yesterday, but a respectable 14%.
Yeah, good look there, my guy. So here we go. I'm in this Apple short. So we have this trend. So we're forming these lower highs. If we sit on top of this and we don't reject this trend line, then I'm going to get out of dodge. Maybe this is just a bull flag type pattern, and then we can continue to the top side because the market does seem to want to recover. The Qs are extremely strong today, so don't want to fight that at all. But here we go in some TSLL as well, guys. Took a little bit off the top. Starting to climb higher, same signature, same thesis. So the next target's going to be 20. So put us around that VWAP level, and then we'll look to take some if it does possibly reject those levels and then continue to make a leg, an additional leg to the downside. Let's take a look at it from a daily standpoint as well too to see what we got going on. And I mean, we were down like 30% or so off of these all-time highs and a nice recovery. I said, I don't know if this is enough for this name to turn around, but we are bouncing in some key support and resistance zones, which is really important. Again, I think it's going to take a little bit more for this name to get everything together because this is a hefty pullback. That's more correction territory with the likes of a 30% correction. But again, like what do you do with this name? Like it's so volatile. It comes with the name. It comes with Elon. You get these crazy returns. You go on these monster runs, and then you give back the majority of it. So it's a high beta name. So again, it's just a ride that you have to be willing to endure. And I think that's the case with Tesla. And it might be for the foreseeable future until maybe short duration, but until something else happens, then I think it's going to continue maybe to the downside and correct. You can always grab it at these low levels as well. Maybe just look to allocate a little bit, whatever you're looking to put towards it, break that up into fifths, and then slowly DCA into a longer term play on this name because it only takes like that, like one spark. As soon as he announces like, hey, Robo-Taxi is a full-on fleet released in Austin, then I wouldn't be surprised if this stock just started soaring to the top side. And I think that's going to be the case in this name. But let's see what else we got going on here. Going to stick in this. I'm still in this Apple. We're not going to get out of it until that trend line is broken. And as of right now, we're holding it too, guys. So keep that in mind. Those lower highs here, really, really important. And maybe we flush back to the downside. Let's see what everybody else in the chat is up to as well. So Los Folio says, coin trying to reverse now, hammer on the 5-minute. I like the way you are thinking. Let's take a look. Yeah, you're going to get I think we're going to get the nod on this. Is it ready to turn around? Sharif knows that this thing had phenomenal numbers. And I'm like, yeah, well, when you see Hood do this, expect this to happen in one of the largest kind of exchanges here for the crypto space, right? This is the massive brokerage. I think if you're opening up a crypto account, you're first looking at this name here, and that's Coinbase. So let's see if this comes into fruition there. If we break that low, then you got to get out of dodge, but it might turn around. Nice consolidation phase, leg lower, isolated volume, nice hammer pivot. If it doesn't break there, I'm going to join you on that long, but let's see what Adair is up to.
So I was just reading here through that United States-India joint leadership statement that was being made. So they basically announced this compact initiative. So that stands for catalyzing opportunities for military partnership, accelerated commerce, and technology. So with that in mind, I would keep an eye on Palantir, if not for today, just in general, because the military element, that's definitely a very large part of Palantir's business, but also in this letter, they talk a lot about here business combinations or connections between India and the U.S. They mentioned partnerships involving Anduril and L3 Harris. Both of those companies also have partnerships with Palantir. So PLTR could benefit, tangentially or maybe eventually directly from this letter, guys. That, from what I read through, that seems to be the only thing that I would think is worth noting. Palantir potentially on watch with this catalyst, guys. Back to you.
Best interview people have to watch if you're. Yes, I was going to tell him, Madera. Alex Karp and the CEO of L3 Harris, the poor soul of the L3 Harris CEO. He's like sitting there as Alex Karp like talks about, He's an aggressive guy. And the L3 Harris guy is like, he's a Cobb guy. You could tell he's, just a regular run-of-the-mill CEO. He chooses his words carefully. Alex is like, we need to go after our enemies. We got to call it the Department of Offense, not the Department of Defense. L3 Harris guy is just like, okay, this guy's nuts. Anyway, no, in all seriousness, obviously he's a very intelligent individual. He just happens to be very strongly opinionated about military things, which, obviously irks some people. In any event, I took some out there on ALLO, excuse me. But again, I don't know. I printed at 2, but 2 didn't cross. So I'm not really sure how I got that. Probably first in priority. But ALLO is having a lot of trouble now with $2. We have been rejecting that on the 5-minute basis since 11:10. It is now 11:35. Each and every single candle has rejected off 2. So the seller who's been hanging out there, well, they're winning so far. So we'll keep tabs on that. AUR, I'm taking out some of this one. I've moved up my stop now from this area trough at 1040, 1035. I've moved it up 10 pennies into the mid 40s there. So I'll only be risking 5 pennies for the remaining amount on AUR. So keeping my eye out on that. I'm still not in Udemy for whatever reason here, even though it continues to hang out around the high of the day, UDMY. I wonder if this is on the NQ. It is. So this one's up 33.75%. But as you can see over here, it's been having a whole lot of trouble taking that $0.50. So I'm very interested in seeing whether this one can continue to the high side. UDMY is on one today. And now that things have calmed down a bit, I can kind of look to see what's afoot with Udemy. Okay, so it was a revenue beat. It was a earnings beat, excuse me. So Udemy shares jump up whatever percentage at 2 3-month high after Q4 revenue beat. So it's an earnings winner today for UDMY, up 33.25. Definitely keep an eye out on that. I've also put on my side chart now SoFi, because SoFi is respecting the hell out of the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart. I don't even think it's had a break of it since we rung the bell. This is the one. Let's flip to the 5. You can kind of get what I'm saying there. There it is. There's a green line, and there is the very, very respectful hold of the trend by SoFi. Now, what you can probably notice is we're kind of topping out here at the 40 penny area. Very consolidative. We've been for the last, I want to say, maybe 10, 20 minutes or so. So we'll look for a break and take of that high of the day. If you're going to do that, my suggestion to you is build your position towards that 10 exponential, which is currently at the $0.25. So that's a look right now. Joseph Wilson, what do you got over there?
Yeah, same thing here, Sharif. We're going to trim a little bit more off the top on Tesla here as we continue to move higher towards VWAP. Gorev, you see this, man. The hammer candles, you're killing it as well, too. So we're killing that on Tesla because it was at an extreme. It was down a significant amount. We take a little bit more there, guys. But let's take a look at Apple. So for me, I just want to talk a little bit about stop losses, right? Like, so you can see that we're kind of chopping within this range here, guys. Right?
Everything good?
Yeah. What?
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So here we go. You see that we're chopping around in this range, guys. But I'd be doing myself a disservice if I had my stop kind of in the middle of it, right? So that's why it's like, okay, you're forming lower highs, draw that trend line, and then if it breaks and holds, sits on top of it, then just get out of the trade. But as of right now, it's just chopping around, rejecting that high, and then heading back to the lower half of that channel. So until it breaks it into the top side, there's no reason for me to get out. And I think that's really key for when you're setting your stops too. You want to put them in ranges where it's not like in the middle of a range. He's up next.
Oh, okay.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
crew over there. So we're gonna go over to the new crew here shortly. But here we go, guys. Like it's like, okay, so when you're putting your stop losses, it's no, yeah, money. I mean, when you put in your stop losses, you don't want to put them in these ranges. You want to put them above the range, right? So you don't get lick wrapped or anything along those lines. You want to put it in a safe spot, and then once the trade starts to work, you start adding to those positions. Thank you to Brankles and Wayner for really helping me hone in on that and start pushing those. Like, okay, nothing the issue with the stop loss, but it's like you have conviction within the setup. Start hammering shares, start putting on size, and really allow that system to work for you. And here we are in this case with Apple, just holding on tight. If we break the trend, then we're going to get out, Sharif.
All right, man. I've weaseled into Udemy. I'm going to give it really tight amount of room here because $10.50 was an obvious level of resistance. There was size posted on the gateway there that it got taken out. So if it doesn't hold 10.5 and it continues to zig and zag, then I want no part of it. So we're long at 58. So we're going to risk a few pennies here to see if we can continue to move our way up on UDMY. I think the high of the day is 61. So let's throw out some orders up in this, you know what, and see if we can extract some profitability off this one. Now I've loaded up SoFi over here, and I'm seeing that there is a seller of note at 40s on SoFi. So it's getting a little away from it right now on the book. SOFI is what I'm talking about, with George Soros apparently working his position into that. So if we break and take 40, like I'm thinking maybe I should build my position a little bit higher here, then, or a lower, excuse me, in the 30s, maybe high 20s, and then just give it to that $0.25. It's bounced off the $0.25 before. We're getting awfully close to it. So I'm making my decisions right now. We'll see exactly what we get, but I'm also keeping an eye on Udemy because it looks like it might be coming down and breaking up that $0.50. So that's not what I want there. What else? AUR moved up back into the high 60s. It's now having trouble with 70s, despite the fact that it's worked its way up into 75. I'm talking about AUR, kind of a consolidative move now as we get more into that light session of trading. ALLO, now this is looking like a rounded top. That is trouble, okay? Let me show you exactly what I'm looking at here on the 5. So I could still get out of this break even. ALLO is the one I'm talking about. This is the 5. Look at this kind of rounding of the highs there. So we've got a flat bottom, but look at all those wicks. Most of them are topping tail candles. That to me says that the sellers are taking a little bit of control here away from the buyers, despite the fact that we're knocking the door highs. Now everything can change in a second if you have a big buyer who comes in and takes out that $2 area. But this concerns me, this arching effect and the topping tail candles and the inability to break $2. So ALLO here, a bit of a concern. There goes, here comes 2 again. Here comes 2 again, and we reject 2 again. So let's see if this ends up being a topping tail candle as well, just like its predecessors. So we'll continue to watch, see what this one wants to do. I got stopped out of Udemy. I can see there on the side screen, which is fine. We risked very little there. But I'll get back in if this one continues to make higher highs and higher lows. What I'm looking at right now is ALLO, because now there's size here at 99s that's trying to backstop me. See those 120 right there that we're looking at? But look at this. There's more bids on the 99s than there is on the asks at 2, despite the fact that we can't break it. That's another sign there that we're looking at a hidden seller. And then when you look past 2, we're looking at 202. Look at the amount of size hanging out at 202 over here. We have easily 1,000 lots from what we can just see. So there is trouble, I think, on ALLO unless we can really take out that 2, and then we can talk about possibly using 2 as support. But that's a little trouble right now, Joseph. What do you got?
Yeah, so we got out of this TSLL trade, came back to the break even. We didn't hit the target we were necessarily looking for. That's okay. If we pull back a little deeper, and then maybe we can just get right back into the trade because we're break even right now. So there just might be somewhat of a pullback. We'll wait for the signal for it to turn around and then maybe hop in once again. But we get the partial here, partial there, and then the stop out. But we're still sitting in this Apple trade. Again, same thesis. This might be a little bit more of a slow burner. I don't know how much higher it's going to go. I for some reason, I just have a hunch it's going to break down or just totally go parabolic here. So we're going to be sitting in a good position on this one. Not the best entry. A little tighter to VWAP would be more ideal, but that's okay. But it is kind of looking like we're going to break to the top side. But the market is extremely, extremely choppy. But what's trading really well today, and I've seen a lot of people in the chat, is these fintech names, Sharif. PayPal just going to the top side. SoFi as well too, guys. So really, really good look here on PayPal. Let's zoom out and see what we got going on from a daily perspective. Oh, okay. So, I mean, this thing was down in the dumps for a long time and a big recovery off those lows. I know a lot of my buddies were grabbing some around the 50s and 60s of this name because I think a lot of Americans use it. I know they got Cash App, PayPal, etc., and I use it as well, too, for certain things. But here we go, a big gap down here, but now recovering off those bottoms. That's a massive volume signature. So a lot of volume going on here. So I would suspect that this pullback can be relatively deep in this name. Maybe look for it to breach the gap again, will put us around 82.91s or something along those lines. But I like this name for the long term. Really starting to pick up some steam. And what else do we got cooking up here, guys? Sitting in this Apple still. If we break VWAP for the third time, then I do believe we're going to get that breakdown south of 243. And that's exactly what I'm looking for. Ideal entry would be way up here. Now my RVR is vastly skewed, which kind of isn't that good. But again, this market has just been up and down, up and down. A lot of overlapping candles on the 5-minute, which we need to keep in mind too. So you got multiple hammer candles. So here you go right at VWAP, hammer candle, push up, sells back down, says, no, we're not making a new low here today yet, Sharif. Puts in another hammer candle and a nice recovery. But again, we're kind of forming this head and shoulders type pattern on the 5-minute. Shoulder one, head, and then possibly shoulder two. So if we have the inability to construct a new high here, then I'm going to suspect, hey, this pattern might come to fruition, and then we break the lows here on the Q Sharif, which would drag the rest of the market down with it.
All right, I think we're going to Adara. Let me know.
I didn't
Yep.
do anything.
We had a pretty massive earnings night last night, so we're going to do a little bit of a revival of this segment we do every once in a while during the midday, and it is an earnings review, if you will. It doesn't have a formal name, but there are so many earnings. I want to talk about some of the ones we haven't discussed in as great of detail. If you missed it around 10:30 a.m. during the main show, I went in depth on Coinbase earnings, so now we're going to take a little bit of a look here at Palo Alto Networks and DraftKings. PANW, I know Sharif talks about this name here, Palo Alto Networks, beating on EPS and also beating on sales, and I don't know if that's for me or Palo Alto or all of the above, but regardless, we'll continue here. Total revenue up 14% year over year. They also had remaining performance obligations grow by 21% year over year. And they said that their next generation security annual recurring revenue actually grew by 37% on a year over year basis. So lots of growth here for the company. And also, we're talking about DraftKings because this is a beautiful push to the upside for DKNG. They actually had a beat of 14 cents per share versus an expected loss of 15 cents per share. So that is quite the beat. Sales, though, were a little bit below expectations, and they raised their guidance. So the lower end of their revenue guidance for fiscal 2025, still slightly below estimates, but the midpoint here, which would be $6.45 billion, is above estimates of $6.394 billion. DraftKings here had a 13% year-over-year increase in total revenue and a 36% increase in monthly unique payers. They also had, unfortunately, a 16% decrease, though, in ARPU. So average revenue per user actually dropped for DraftKings on a year-over-year basis. That's a pretty huge metric for anything that involves media or users, so I think it's worth noting. And we'll talk here about our new earnings board. This one has not been yet released on X. You guys are seeing an exclusive preview here. But basically, we have this is the second week in a row we've done it, where you have economic data at the top, earnings on the bottom. So check this out. Lots of nice Chinese ADR earnings. We've got Alibaba on Thursday morning, Baidu on Tuesday morning, working on a graphic for that right now. So lots to keep an eye on for next week, even though it's not going to be necessarily a blowout earnings week like what we saw over the last 3 weeks, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, Carvana, Rivian, Walmart, those are all interesting ones that I'm going to be keeping an eye on next week. And Adara, come on. Why would I boo you? I'm booing Pandub. You know I'm booing Pandub, right? All right, so we're still involved right now in ALLO. It's finally taken 2. But as I suspected, there is size at every penny. So this one might be a hard row ho. I don't know if we can take it out unless we have a really big buyer. The good side of the equation, that's the bad side of the equation. The good side of the equation is we're still putting in higher lows. So despite the fact that it looked like we were kind of rounded topping there, I don't know if I feel that way anymore. The higher lows might be in play here. We'll have to see if they can continue to move up in that fashion. Now, I got stopped out of Udemy again. So I'm 0 for 2 on that. But now it's back at the 10 exponential. So maybe I shouldn't have been trying to front run it at the $0.50. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get in here again. Hopefully I don't go over 3 on this thing. And we're going to give it to 24s. Let's go. And hopefully we can extract some profitability on this, you know what. So we'll layer the orders and see if we can eke out some profits on this bad word, stock. So that's a look there. So Udemy back involved in that one, looking for the 10 exponential on the 5 hold, up 32% earnings winner. AUR continues to dance with that $0.50. As I mentioned, I've moved up my stop from this area trough closer to my stop. So it looks like it's defending that $0.50 for now, but for how long? Again, ALLO having trouble with 2. So maybe I should look at something else. I've been thinking about SoFi as well, but SoFi I don't think is quite ready to get into yet. I might be interested more at around the 20 exponential or VWAP, which is very close to 16 right now on SOFI. So that's my look there. Let's go back to Udemy. Okay, we finally got a print here, positive print on Udemy. Let's see if we can continue to move up into that $0.50. It's up 33%. It looks like it's a bottoming tail candle and a possible hammer candle off the 10 exponential moving average on the 5, of which it's been respectful on the day. So that's what I'm keeping my eye out on right now. Shout out to Jay Lee, Sharif, Carvana at 280 should be the greatest Huadunk ever when reality sets in. I still can't believe it got pumped that high. They are being accused, the CEO and his old man, I think who is the chairman of the board, of some accounting irregularities there, Jay. Do your homework on that. I'm sure you will. Anyway, by the way, we were looking at the inflation print, Brendo and I, yesterday when we got CPI, not yesterday, the day before, and used cars, they're back to inflating. So they were deflationary, I think, for almost a year, maybe a little bit less than a year, and now they're actually increasing in price year over year again. So that's the look there. So we'll have to see if that gives them a bit of a tailwind or it doesn't mean much for them. All right, Joseph, what's going on your side?
Yeah, nothing. Just working on a couple technical things here, but that's okay. We'll get it sorted. Okay, guys. So yeah, we're still in this Apple trade as of right now. Kind of popped above me here, and the market's dragging lower. So I believe that Apple might follow unless it's just ridiculously strong. We've got to be careful of this rounded bottom on the 5-minute as we go to these key resistance zones. So this higher low here. Slower high, sorry, is something that we need to monitor. We're now sitting on top of that trend, and I said we have to get out of the trade. So I think we're going to, because we can continue to the top side. There will always be another opportunity to get involved in the name. And if it's not short, I don't love shorting super strong stocks in the first place, because that is a really nice rounded bottom on this name. As it continues, oh, okay, nice. I just added to the position by accident. We don't want to do that. So we're going to hop out right now as we have my screen up. Okay, so yeah, now we're out of that position. I do think this is going to slowly climb higher, but we're back into some TSLL here, guys. Looking for that continuation through VWAP, the weaker of the big names here, which isn't the best. And again, the overall sentiment in this name, not the best either. So the pops aren't as strong, as aggressive as they can be in some of the other stronger names. So let's keep that in mind. But let's also go over some of the top volume stocks in the session, ranging from $15 to $1,000. And in first place is INTC with 122 million. I heard Katina Man talking with Obi on that. So we'll take a look at INTC real quick. So yeah, it's still to the downside, down 3.5 here on the session. But let's see what Adair's up to.
Get it, Adair.
We have a Ming-Chi Kuo tweet. Ming-Chi Kuo, if you do not realize, is a supply chain analyst here. He does a lot of talk on here on Apple and AAPL getting mentioned here. He said the iPhone SE4 is expected to ship apparently 12 million units in the first half of 2025 and then 10 million in the second half of 2025. That's performing slightly better than previous SE models. So expecting, I guess, stronger than previous SE model shipments. But like you said, not only will this help smooth out the usual seasonal dip in shipments, but it also is likely to help boost the adoption of Apple Intelligence devices. So basically, Ming-Chi Kuo was saying that the expectations here in the supply chain for iPhone SE shipments could actually help with regards to their Apple Intelligence adoption, which you know has been a little bit mixed, guys. Back to you.
Thank you very much for that, Adair. It's refreshing to see a Ming-Chi Kuo headline or tweet that doesn't poop on Apple. It's been a while, Adair. No, I'm kidding, of course, because there was one a couple of days ago that was positive as well. So, yeah, but thank you very much for that excellent information, Adair. Yeah, Wedbush had a comment on the dead one Apple today about the new Apple Intelligence being launched with Alibaba in China. Obviously, we've been talking a lot about weak China sales, and for good reason. It's their second biggest market, and they fall into the third place there in terms of handsets sold on the year. So that's not a good look. So we'll have to wait and see if that continues and what the deal is there. All right, Udemy coming back down into the 10 exponential again. We'll see if it holds. I put my stop at the $0.25. So if it breaches a 10 exponential, we're out there. I'm still having to pack my patience with ALLO. I'm still kept, optimistic with the higher lows and the flat top. This I perceive to be a really good candidate for a flat top breakout. I'm talking about ALLO. It's kind of the inverse of the flat bottom, where we continuously see lower highs with that, support area being the flat bottom, get defended over and over, but lower highs every time. This is the opposite, where we have higher lows every time with that $2 area still hanging out as resistance. So trying to pack my patience with this one, but obviously it's not forthcoming, and that's a problem. AUR continues to zig. It continues to zag. It's got another higher low though. So last time we dipped into about that 1037, maybe 1036. This time around we dip into about 1050. So a bit of a higher low, but no higher high quite yet. That 10 3/4 has been acting as a level of resistance for a hot minute. So keeping my eye on both or all three of those. I'm still interested in getting in on SoFi. SOFI, great look for it on the day, up and to the right, was very respectful of the 10 exponential moving average. That ended. It just breached it, and now it looks like it's going to close below it. It's a bit of a bull flag, right now. So if we can, keep your eye out on this one, maybe set some alerts so that when it's breaking out above the range, then look to take it there. Otherwise, I'm looking for SoFi to either pull into that 20 exponential moving average on the 5 or pull into VWAP. And VWAP right now happens to overlap with the whole dollar around 16 bucks, which to me is more bullish. When you have that whole dollar area and VWAP both intersect, to me, I like to get in on those areas a bit more. So I'll keep my eye out on that to see if we can weasel into something there. But nothing really as forthcoming as I had hoped. Joseph Wilson.
Yes.
What do you got?
Yeah, yes, sir. We're back into this TSLL. Sorry, guys, I'm not in the chat right now. I got to sign back in. I'll do momentarily. But here we go. I got to monitor some of these positions and see what's cooking up here on TSLL. Looking for that move back to VWAP. I've mentioned this time and time again. Again, with the market slowly crawling higher, maybe we get that. It's a weak stock, but we'll hope for the best there on that name. But let's also see what's going on here in the chat and see what everybody else is looking at. Eyes on the video off that 136 MA. Thank you, ChatGPT, for that $2 super chat. Goes very much appreciated. NVDA, let's pull this up for you here. So you're gonna eyes on NVIDIA off that 136 MA bounce. Okay, so somewhere along these lines, I think. So what we're gonna look at is constructing these continuous trend lines, and it's holding up pretty well. I mentioned that we were in breakout territory on this name. So if we continue to the top side, then here we go. It's came to fruition. And I think that's going to be the case. This name is extremely strong and going to continue to move, appreciate. So we like that. Also put it in the chat what else you guys are looking at. MGOL, a lot of people are talking about. Did you trade that today?
No, it's the below VWAP, brother. I mean, it's zagging, it's zagging. It's not doing anything. So, I mean.
Yeah, again, and it's not doing too much here. And we have a big indecision candle on the daily, so we'll keep that in mind. But we have that inverted candle as well with that isolated volume. So this isn't something necessarily I'm going to be looking to play. Again, we'll zoom in and see what we got going on from a daily, from an intraday is too. So this isn't like this type of price action here, Sharif. I'm like, I want to avoid this stuff, right? You see all these overlapping candles. There's no definitive trend here. The pre-market price action was significantly cleaner than when the market opened here. So unless you're buying, like if you're range trading, by all means, this is like what you want. This is the epitome of what you want here. But again, if you're looking for a breakout trader like my style of trading, it's not going to suit it. So again, just like, let's see what happens. We're just forming this wedge here. We can punch through VWAP, but then where's your next target? It's like there's no definitive real level here. So again, it's something I would personally get chopped up in and not necessarily look to play. If you're trading this at the bottom of the ranges, like buying lows and selling highs, then congratulations. That's probably going to work out for you, but it's not going to work out for my style. So we'll take a look at that. We'll see what else everybody else is looking at. Put it in the chat. Do you have anything specific you want me to take a quick gander? Yeah, you want to take a look at BABA there? So pull up BABA there.
Yeah. So let's start with the daily chart on BABA. Okay, so obviously, it's a tough look coming from those pandemic highs. It's hard to make comparisons, obviously, with the pandemic for many stocks, except for the MAG 7 typically, okay? So this is the look right now on BABA. But as Neil pointed out a few days ago, this area over here, this area in October, that we popped up into when David Tepper went on CNBC, started pounding the desk, said, buy everything China. We all know what the deal was, okay? That was the same level in October that we had rejected off, and I know Neil pointed this out as well, in January 2023. that was the same level. That level's gone. We've taken out that level now on a closing basis. Okay, that was a $120 level. Now we're talking about 127, 128. We're talking about high 120s now. We could be on our way to 130. Today's technically an inside day because we're ensconced by yesterday's high and low. But what most notably to me is we have a higher low today on BABA. The low yesterday was around 115. The low today is 121. So Alibaba is on a breakout right now. It's got a couple of great headlines. There's a tech symposium next week that's going to be not hosted, but it's going to be attended by Jack Ma. Okay, and he hasn't been seen, you know, a lot lately ever since the Ant Group IPO got pulled. Xi Jinping as well, President Xi will also be there. And to me, he hasn't been there since these, or he hasn't been to one of these tech symposiums since 2018, okay? And we've seen what's happened since 2018 till now. There's been a marked crackdown by the Chinese government against a lot of their tech companies. I think the winds of change are coming, okay? I think specifically he's doing that because he knows he can't keep his companies down when Donald Trump is going to prop his companies up, right? So this might be a really good look right now for these Chinese ADRs. But as always, you should be selective with the companies that you choose. So that's the intraday look and my little fundamental take there. Now let's look at the intraday chart. So looks like we're working our way into VWAP. I like the fact that we broke the lower highs, the lower highs. So area crest, another area crest, and yet another area crest, but we take it out there. We had that lower low, but now we have that higher high, but we're still south of the volume weighted average price. So look for resistance possibly at that $1.24 or a little bit south of that